Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. What's up, everybody? Good morning and happy Friday to you all. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk Studios. Appreciate you making us a part of your start. If you are already up and at it, whether you're tuning in on the radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM, available to stream up online at sportstalk1051.com, WAYYradio.com. You've got your Alexa devices, your smart devices, your smart speakers, all that jazz. The app, download it, take it on the go. Video stream up and rolling here too on the Man Cave channel on YouTube. What do we have on our game plan for us this morning? Got lots to hit up. Brewers picking up a win yesterday to win the series against the Padres, a 7-1 victory. Brewers putting up 6 runs in the first 2 innings, 3 apiece, giving Kyle Harrison some early run support. And Kyle Harrison picking up his 4th win on the season. He went 5 innings, 5 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 7 Ks to lower his ERA to a 2.09er. But Kyle Harrison off to a fantastic start to begin this season. Terrain collected a hit and got on a couple times via the walk. You had Luis Rengifo picking up a couple more hits, staying hot at the plates. Vaughn a couple hits. Mitchell a couple hits. It was the bottom of the order really kind of kick it in the gear yesterday too. So, but now we get a little bit of a border battle here as the Brewers will be playing not far from us. I'm sure quite a few of our listeners might be heading on over to Minnesota to watch Brewers versus Twins. That series will begin tonight. So just as a reminder, in case you have an old schedule, the game time did move up a little bit. So 6:10 is first pitch. And the Brewers will be going up against Joe Ryan tonight. So we'll recap yesterday's W and take a look at this matchup. But we are 1 quarter through the season. After this series, it is time to submit your grades, Brewers fans. How would you grade the first quarter of this Brewers season? How would you grade the first quarter? And maybe give me a first quarter MVP, offense. Okay, how about this? Instead of MVP, first quarter, best position player, best pitcher, most improved, or maybe most surprising. Hey, dang, that dude surprised me. And the player that's, they're in restricted study hall and they need to do some they need to do some improvement. I think we might all be on the same page with whoever we're thinking of, but hey, never know. So start to hit me up with those texts and thoughts. All right, that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line is up 715-830-1912, or you can join in on the Section 105 chat on YouTube. So plenty of baseball, plenty of Brewers chat to hit up. So also, we got a schedule. Check your schedules, peeps. Packers schedule is officially out, or whoever you are a fan of. What stood out to you from the schedule release for the Packers yesterday? I've got a few things, but just to recap, Packers will be opening up the season on the road for the first 2 weeks. They're going to be at Minnesota week 1, at the Jets week 2, short week, home opener Thursday night against Atlanta, back on the road against Tampa Bay. So 3 of their first 4 games going to be on the road, but it helps. It catches up towards the back end here. I'll get to that here in a second. Then week 5, Chicago at home at Lambeau. Sunday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys, week 6. At Detroit, week 7. Carolina, another Thursday night game. Okay, both Thursday night games at Lambeau Field. Then you're at New England, home against the Vikings, November 15th. Deer hunters rejoice because they have a bye on the opening weekend of deer hunting season. Yes. All right. So bye week 11, and then that Wednesday night game before Thanksgiving. You'll be out of the woods by then. Maybe you're cutting some deer before Thanksgiving, but got the Rams there, and then at New Orleans for week 13. Sunday Night Football, week 14, home against Buffalo, and then home against Miami right after that. Then that Christmas Day game, week 16 at Chicago. Home Monday night, week 17, against the Houston Texans. Home to wrap up the season, week 18, against the Lions. So even though Green Bay opens up 3 of the 4 on the road, they will finish 4 of their last 5 games at the friendly confines of Lambeau Field, with their lone road game being that one at Chicago. So not really a whole lot of travel from December 13th through the either January 9th or 10th, because that Lions game will either be Saturday, January 9th or Sunday, January 10th. So what else stood out to you? I got a couple more things that I want to get to, but if you are one that is not a fan of streaming and you don't have a lot of streaming services, you're probably not going to like the schedule, since you got 2 Thursday games, which are going to be on Amazon Prime, and then you got the 2 Netflix games. So, yeah, that's at least 4. They don't shoot the messenger, but that's how the cookie crumbles, I guess. So, but we'll take a look at this, and of course, 17-0. I don't want to do schedule predictions. Okay, we're in May. I don't want to do wins, losses, that sort of thing, because there's a lot of stuff that can be continuing to transpire, if you will, before the season begins. So, but we'll talk a little bit about this. Give me your reaction. Give me your thoughts on how the schedule fell for the Green and Gold. We won't have an Inside the Training Room. Doc is unavailable. Doc is out of the office today, so we will not have an Inside the Training Room, but we will have Brandon Berg joining us coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. So we will do a little local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. Get the latest and greatest in terms of some of the prep sports out there. So Brandon will break it all down for us. We will play a little Pump the Brakes Full Throttle, brought to you by AJM Automotive, 2 locations in Eau Claire. And then we'll play a little Cream of the Crop, the normal drill that we do every Friday morning. So that's kind of your game plan for us this morning, and whatever shenanigans we may get on, because it's a Friday and you never know what could happen at this point in time. So, but all right, let's get things going here this morning, shall we? Let's talk some Brewers. Let's talk some Packers schedule. And let's get things going here this morning. Lots to hit up. I'm curious. I'm excited to hear your thoughts. First quarter grades on the Brewers. Who was the most impressive position player? Most impressive. Let's cut out the word best. Let's go most impressive, like A on a roll, defense, or position player, and then pitcher. Could be starter, could be bullpen. And then the player that needs the most improvement. And then give me your letter grade overall from the team. Okay? And then give me your thoughts on this Packers schedule. Let's take our first break. And the leadoff as we kick things off on this Friday morning. We'll be right back after these quick words. Sunshine, road trips, and summer adventures are calling. Is your vehicle ready? At AGM Automotive in Eau Claire, they'll make sure that you hit the road with confidence, from AC checks and oil changes to brakes and full inspections. AJM Automotive has you covered before the heat kicks in. With 2 convenient Eau Claire locations, expert service is always just around the corner. So don't let car trouble slow you down or slow down your summer plans. Schedule your appointment today by visiting ajmautomotiveservices.com. AJM Automotive, keeping you cool, safe, and road trip ready all summer long. Let's get things going here on the leadoff. Brew Crew picking up a 7-1 victory against the Padres yesterday. Offense given some early run support for Kyle Harrison. Luis Rengifo, we were talking a little bit about him yesterday, continuing this nice stretch that he has been putting together from the plate. And, those had that big hit in the first inning to get a couple of runs across the board here for the for the Brewers and such. So, but Harrison was also solid from the mound, going 5 innings, striking out 7, didn't issue a single walk either. I mean, you take a look at this. So, first of all, very successful homestand for the Brewers, right? I mean, going 5-1. To go 5-1 against the Yankees and the Padres at home, taking advantage of being at home, but 5-1 against teams that at that time, I mean, they were at the top of their division. That was fantastic. I mean, major tip of the cap to the Crew for a very successful home team. I mean, they were like inches. And I say inches because if that ball's a little bit lower, Bryce Ring's a little bit taller, they were inches from going undefeated in this homestand against the Yankees and the Padres. If it wasn't for that Game 2 against the Padres and that home run in the 9th, that close. Still a successful homestand these last 6 games. But you look at Luis here, 3 RBIs yesterday in his last 7 games. Okay, those last 7 games. Luis is hitting .320. Still isn't really slugging because, I mean, he hasn't had a home run or anything like that, but he is producing at the plate. He is getting on base. In his last 25 at-bats, he has 8 hits, 4 RBIs. He's only struck out twice, and he's also walked 3 times. And his last 3 games have been multiple hits. Multiple hits. 2, 3, 2. So he, so far in the month of May, is hitting .303 and on base with 378. And that's coming off of a month of April where he was just 194. So he has been playing very well as of late, too. So got to give him a ton of credit. But Harrison here, let's go back to the pitching here for a second. You want to take a look at some of these youngsters who are playing incredibly well as of late, and they were a big part of why they had a successful homestand. Check this out, all right? Combined stats from a 6-game homestand, 1.95 ERA. A 1.95 ERA, 45 Ks between Kyle Harrison, Jacob Mizorowski, Brandon Sproat, and Logan Henderson. The kids are getting it done. Getting it done. This Kyle Harrison cat, I know we've talked about him off and on, but man, it sure looks like the Brewers got themselves another stud pitcher. And right now, early leaders in the clubhouse for that trade that sent Caleb Durbin over to the Red Sox. And I'm not trying to be negative on Caleb Durbin, but you look at what he's having so far this season in 134 ABs, he's just hitting 172. OPS with just a 509. And the thought, again, was that maybe the Brewers thought that Durbin had hit his peak, or what he did last year. I shouldn't say hit his peak because he's young, but maybe overperformed to the expectations and such. So maybe try to sell high on him. And then what are they getting in return? This young pitcher that has a ton of potential, and right now we're seeing that potential full display with Kyle Harrison. He may be young. He's got a few. I mean, he spent some time with the Giants, a little bit with the Red Sox. He's only 24, but, man, he pitches like a veteran out there. Between him and Mizorowski, these two, let's go, baby. You throwing a little Logan Henderson. Ooh. Yeah. I feel really good about these Brewers pitchers. Man, I feel really good with where they're at. DL Hall only pitched an inning in the game yesterday, too. But this is another guy. We talk a lot about Aaron Ashby, right? We talk a lot about what he has been able to provide coming out of the bullpen and such. But you look at DL Hall, too, not to completely get overshadowed. He doesn't have a win. You know, he doesn't have those wins like an Aaron Ashby has. But he has pitched in 18 games, 20 innings, 22 strikeouts. And he has only given up a total of 4 runs this season. 3 in the month of April, and they were back-to-back games. But he started off the season not giving up a single earned run. Only 1 home run. That is it. 1.80 ERA. And another guy that can give you a little bit of length coming out of the pen. So while Aaron Ashby has been pitching incredibly well, he's getting a lot of the attention because, well, I mean, look at the wins, right? You look at the wins that he is racking up here. DL Hall, don't overlook what he has meant to this ball club too, coming out of the pen. And Ashby and Hall at one times were thought as starters. We'll see what the future kind of holds for them going forward. But right now, they are key pieces, incredibly valuable pieces within this bullpen, within this pitching staff for this entire team. So, first quarter is officially in the books. How should we grade it? How should we grade the first quarter of this Brewers season? Who gets the props for, and we'll do pitcher and position player here, but most impressive pitcher, most impressive position player, maybe most, I don't want to say, I guess we could say most improved or maybe most surprising. Who's a player that you're like, dang, I'm kind of surprised how well they're doing so far in the first quarter? Props to him. And who needs to go to restricted study hall? Anybody had to do that? I had to do it 1 quarter. I'll admit it. Little confession, 1 quarter I had to. I got a little lazy in math. But who's got to go to restricted study hall? I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. And got to get the grades up and got to perform better. Who is that? Who's that player? We probably all have the same position player. And let's keep it position player and pitcher. A little separate here. 1 for each. Just make it a little bit more simple. I think we know the position player. It's probably Joey Ortiz, right? So if it's Joey Ortiz for you, maybe come at me with another one. All right, maybe think of another one. If it's Joey Ortiz, who's the other person? Or maybe you don't have Joey Ortiz and you have somebody else. And then as we get set for quarter 2, which we're going to say officially starts tonight against the Twins, what is the biggest concern you have heading into quarter number 2? Brewers begin this 3-game series tonight, going up against the Twins. Got Joe Ryan on the mound. Officially, it's still a little TBD for the Brewers, or TBA to be announced and such. But sure seems like maybe Chad Patrick's going to be involved in that. Maybe a short start or whatever have you. But Aaron Ashby did not pitch yesterday either, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's sort of a combination of all that. So. But when we look at this start going up against Joe Ryan, you got some Brewers players here with a fairly sizable amount of experience, 2-3 games worth, depending on who you're looking at. And Luis, who is playing really well as we were just mentioning, in 8 career at-bats. He is .375 against Joe Ryan, .819 OPS, so maybe he can continue that hot streak. Vaughn in 12 career at-bats is just .167 with a .481 OPS. You've got Ortiz, 7 career at-bats, .143 and a .286. Hamilton, 5 career at-bats, hitting .400 with a .900 OPS. Jackson Chourio in 5 career at-bats, 3 RBIs, .400, 1.371 OPS. And then Contreras, 7 ABs, .143, .411. By the way, Christian Yelich, 4 career at-bats, just a .200 OPS, no average. Turang, 8 career at-bats, .125 and a .250 OPS. Same with Sal Frelick. So they're a little familiar with Joe Ryan, even though he's in the American League here. Joe Ryan, by the way, 2-3 with a 3.43 ERA so far in the season, but he's coming off of you look at his last 3 games, or I should say last 3 appearances here, because Toronto, he only went a third of an inning there. But his last one against Cleveland back on the 9th, 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. And then if we ignore the Toronto one, the 28th against Seattle, he got charged with the loss, but it was a quality start. 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, just 1 walk. All right, let's talk some first quarter grades, shall we? We'll take a quick break, and we'll break it all down. We'll fill out our report cards coming up after these quick words. Summer is here, or it's almost here, and that means it's time to get out in the great outdoors to make some memories and be ready for whatever the season brings. That's where Tilden Gun comes on in. Whether you are gearing up for some target practice, heading to the range, or preparing for your next adventure, Tilden Gun has the selection and expertise to get you set up right. From firearms and ammunition to accessories and safety gear, they've got everything that you need, all backed by knowledgeable service that you can trust. At Tilden Gun, it's not just about what you buy. It's about making sure that you feel confident, informed, and ready every single time that you head on out. So this summer, don't just enjoy the great outdoors. Be prepared for it. Stop by Tilden Gun today and see why they are a trusted name for shooters and outdoor enthusiasts alike. All right, so first quarter, we're calling it in the books for the Brew Crew. Give me your letter grades for the overall team and where they're at right now. Give me most impressive position player, most impressive pitcher, the player that needs some improving, pitcher, position player as well. All right. So just to kind of look at where things are at standings-wise, Brewers second in the division right now, chasing those Cubbies of Chicago. Brewers are 2.5 games back of the Cubs. Both the Brewers and the Cardinals are 2.5 back, but the Brewers holding a very slight advantage over the Cardinals in terms of win percentage. Brewers .585. Cardinals .581 win percentage. So, but I'm probably around BB plus for an overall letter grade for the Brewers. It's just maybe you look at, I think they've weathered the injuries very well. They are getting a ton of great production from their pitchers, especially their younger pitchers. Maybe, a thing to knock them down a little bit is, are they suffering a little bit in the power department and the home run department? Yeah, I mean, they're down there. But, is that the biggest question mark? Is that the biggest weakness on this team? You look at the left side of the infield. We've mentioned a few times now, Luis has been playing better at that third base spot, but there's probably still some questions surrounding shortstop. Joey Ortiz, David Hamilton. Hamilton at least gets on via the bunt and can steal some bases, but it's probably a big question mark. Other than that, maybe you're looking at Yelich and saying, okay, is this back issue going to be a thing that he's going to have to deal with throughout the rest of the season? I mean, that's definitely a question. I would say if we had our biggest question heading into the second quarter, I'd throw that up there for consideration. That'd definitely be a top one. My other question would be, are we going to see Cooper Pratt in the second quarter of the season and taking over that starting shortstop spot? But letter grade, I'm probably at like BB plus. Most impressive position player. You could go Contreras. You could go with. I'm going Terang. I'm riding the Terang train right now. The continued improvement of what he has done from the offensive side of things is it still continues to kind of amaze me. I mean, he is the team leader in OPS, 933. He is tied for the most home runs. He has the most runs scored. He has the highest batting average, and he's got the most RBIs. He is one off from Contreras for the most hits on the team. The most impressive position player for me in the first quarter of the season has been Bryce Terang, and he has lived up to, I think, a lot of the expectations. He has continued from his World Baseball Classic appearance to just play at an incredibly high level. We know what he brings from the defensive side, but he is an offensive threat now. Doesn't matter if he's hitting leadoff, the 2 spot, the 3 spot, the cleanup. He has produced, and he has continued to produce throughout this whole season. Pitcher is interesting now because I think you can make the case when you look at starters and bullpen for a few different guys. Aaron Ashby. Aaron Ashby has been awesome in the first quarter. Very, 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 very pivotal in terms of what he has meant to this team coming into the game from the pen. There's no question. We mentioned a little DL Hall. Kyle Harrison has been off to a really good start. But, man, I got to go Jacob Misiorowski. I mean, call it recency effect, call it whatever you want, but what the Miz has been able to do so far this season has been super impressive, insanely impressive. And it feels like every time now he makes the start, you're just shaking your head like, oh, he did another great thing. He did another amazing thing. And, gosh, but if you want to go with like an Aaron Ashby or somebody else for the most impressive pitcher so far this year, I can't argue with you too much, but I'm going to go with Misiorowski, the Miz kid, for my selection. In terms of position player that maybe a little bit more, maybe was a surprise, I might go a little Bowers. I might go Bowers here. I mean, tied for the team lead in home runs. Obviously had a lot of playing time with the Andrew Vaughn injury. He is second in OPS at 817. He is second in runs scored on this team. Third in batting average at 268. Fourth in RBIs. Third in total hits. So I think for me, position player-wise, most surprising, I'd go Bowers. Very close, I'd probably go Lockridge. Because Brandon Lockridge was playing really well, too, up until the injury. But right now, I'd go slight advantage to Jake Bowers, considering, his production came when Jackson Churio was missing time. Andrew Vaughn, Yelich went out with injury. Bowers, and you could throw Gary Sanchez, too, if you want for a little power. He's got 5 home runs. But you look at across the board in terms of team numbers and such, I got to go with Bowers because he has filled in very nicely from an offensive standpoint. Pitcher-wise, this is where maybe you can go in Aaron Ashby for what he's been doing, like the most surprising. I think a lot of people will go Kyle Harrison, and I think that might be the right pick if I had to pick one. I was high on Kyle Harrison coming into this, and I think it's because I was buying into the hype and the excitement surrounding him. I mean, you look at a 4-1 record and just a little shade over 2 ERA. Of course, I didn't think that was going to happen. So, yeah, that's probably the pick is Kyle Harrison. But I am going to throw in DL Hall for consideration. Because what DL Hall has done out of the bullpen, too, again, Aaron Ashby, I think, is overshadowing a lot of it, and rightfully so. But DL Hall has been really good coming out of the pen, too. So I'll go Harrison, but right behind him is DL Hall and Aaron Ashby as maybe the most surprising pitchers so far this season. And I guess for a short, for the shortest, maybe do you throw a little Coleman Crow in there too, even though he only had 1 start. But man, that was insanely impressive too. The players, position player, and the pitcher that needs the most improvement, it's Joey Ortiz for a position player. But if we were going to pick somebody else besides Joey Ortiz, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to go with my guy, Sal Frelick. I think heading into the second quarter now, I want to see a little bit more from an offensive standpoint from my dude. I still love him. He's still my guy. But when you look at what he has done from the plate this year, yeah, he's got 3 home runs already, but just 225, a 621 OPS, a 311 on base percentage. Yesterday he struck out 3 times. I need my guy to boost up those numbers just a little bit more. Only 1 stolen base this year for Frelick too. But Joey Ortiz, Sal Frelick. I need to see some improvements heading into the second quarter. Pitcher wise, Brandon Sproat's kind of been all over the place, up and down and such. I might go Chad Patrick, and I think Chad Patrick is going to be better suited coming out of the pen. So I think that in itself is going to be a nice change of pace for him. He may get some spot starts, including this weekend and that. But I might go a little Chad Patrick. I mean, numbers aren't awful by any means. A 3.06 ERA. And maybe it's just because we have set the bar so incredibly high because of what we've seen these youngsters do. But maybe I'd throw him in there. Quinn Priester hasn't made his debut yet, but I think, with his rehab and the command issues and such, you'd probably throw him in there. So, yeah, I'll probably go a little Quinn Priester. And I know he was injured and such, so that maybe not be fair. So, it's Patrick and Quinn Priester between those guys for me. All right, those are my grades. What are your grades? You can hit us up. Let us know. All right, let's wrap up the first hour talking a little schedule release. Whether you are a Packers fan or a fan of another team, what stood out to you about your favorite team's schedule? Anything really kind of like, oh, wow, okay. Or what's just your general analysis and reaction from it all? We'll take a quick break as we wrap up the first hour. We'll be right back after these quick words. Dings, dents, or something more serious? Don't stress about it. Just head on over to Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire. From minor touch-ups to major collision repair, they're your go-to team for getting your vehicle back to looking like new. With experienced technicians and attention to every detail, Superior Auto Body takes pride in doing the job right the first time. So, when life happens to your vehicle, trust the team that Eau Claire drivers rely on. That's Superior Auto Body, our official Backyard Dreams partners. Packers and all the other 31 teams in the NFL, their schedule getting released yesterday. What stood out to you for your favorite team? Whether it's Packers or somebody else. Hit me up with a text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912. The long rumor that, I shouldn't say long because it was kind of a 24-hour rumor, but We get Packers Bears for Christmas, which hopefully don't have to spend Christmas with the Bears fan in your life. Or unless the Packers win, and then it's an awesome Christmas, right? But anyways, what stood out to you when it came to your favorite team's schedule? I've got a few things when it comes to the Packers schedule. One, in no particular order in this thing, but perfect, absolutely perfect for the deer hunter in your life. A Week 11 bye. By the way, I always feel like they play Minnesota around this time, too, because they play the Vikings. I feel like a lot of times they play the Vikings on the opening weekend of deer gun season. This year, it's the week before, but they get a bye for the opener. All right. No coming out of the deer stand early, maybe watching it on your phone and then missing a deer go by, whatever the case may be. Although, maybe I kind of miss it now, though, too, because I can watch it on my phone and makes the time go by just a little bit quicker. But regardless, you don't have that stress out. And then we know the Wednesday game before Thanksgiving, Wednesday night. So really there's not a game that kind of interferes too much with the deer gun season. So numero one. Another thing that stood out to me, Packers will play 4 of their last 5 games at home at Lambeau Field. The lone road game is that Christmas Day game against the Chicago Bears. Otherwise, Week 14, Sunday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills. Week 15, Miami Dolphins. Warm weather team coming up on December 20th. Then that Christmas Day game. And then the Texans coming in for Monday Night Football, a late Monday Night Football game. This is the only one for the Packers. Week 17 with the Texans. Then the Lions are coming to Lambeau Field to wrap up the season. So even though the Packers, their first 4 weeks of the season, 3 of the 4 will be on the road, they will wrap up with 4 games, 4 of their last 5 games at home. And their one lone trip is just a little south to Chicago. Only one division game through the first 4 weeks of the season. That's that opener at Minnesota. I think that is a big win, a big plus for Green Bay, with the assumption that Micah Parsons and Tucker Kraft won't be available or won't play Week 1. If they start the season on the PUP list with the new PUP rules, they will be eligible to come back and play in time for that Week 5 game against Chicago. So only having one division game in the first 4 weeks of the season, I think, is a plus for Green Bay. The other thing that stood out to me, 2 Thursday night games. I don't know if I'm all about that, and I don't know if Green Bay is all about that either. So their home opener is a Thursday, which is Week 3 against the Falcons on September 24th. And then a month later, October 29th, another Thursday night game against the Carolina Panthers. So I guess at least in one aspect, both Thursday games are going to be at Lambeau Field. So they don't have to travel for that, I guess. But still, it's not ideal to have 2 Thursday games in a month span. That's not a Thanksgiving sort of thing. But not only that, they've got a Wednesday game with the Rams. They've got a Friday game against the Bears. They've got a Monday game against the Texans and potentially a Saturday game against the Lions to wrap up that season. I mean, there's a really good chance the Packers will play on a every day of the week besides a Tuesday at some point in time. But those 2 Thursday ones, a lot of primetime games when you look at it too. You got a couple of Sunday night football games, the Dallas Cowboys at Lambeau Field, the the Texans is a Monday night game. Your other Sunday night game is the Buffalo Bills. So Monday night, Lambeau Field. Sunday night, Lambeau Field. Sunday night, Lambeau Field. The Christmas Netflix game in Chicago. The other Netflix game against the Rams in L.A., but then the 2 Thursday games at Lambeau Field. So hopefully they got they're up and ready to roll for the stadium lights and such. So there is quite a few streaming options on here too, with the 2 Netflix and the 2 Amazon games. So if you're not a streamer, you're not all about that, I don't know what to tell you. But like I said, if you have never signed up for them and you can maybe do a 1-month free trial, it works for the Netflix one. The Amazon one, not quite. It's 5 days past a month. It was close, but not quite. So, and of course they're going 17-0 because picking games this early and on a schedule to me is dumb. It's May. It's the middle of May. There's a lot that can go on. Maybe we'll all be surprised that Micah Parsons and Tucker Kraft play week 1. I don't know. And knock on wood, nothing happens in training camp for injuries or anything like that. There is a lot of time from May 15th to September 13th. I'm not going to pick games on May 15th. That's just no. So if you're going to ask me, record 17-0. That's where I'm at. Travel-wise, I mean, they've only, you open up the season at Minnesota, and then you go to New York, and that L.A. one on Thanksgiving, and then they go to New Orleans. That's the only time they have back-to-back weeks of hitting the road. Otherwise, there is 3 instances where they go back-to-back at home. That's week 5 against the Bears, week 6 against the Cowboys, week 14 against Buffalo, week 15 against Miami, week 17 against Houston, week 18 against Detroit. So even though they're going to begin the season heavy on the road, they're going to finish up with a lot of games at Lambeau Field. So, yeah, I mean, those are kind of the things that jumped out to me, whether they were good, bad, positive, negative. But let me know your thoughts, all right? Hit me up. Shoot me a text or join in on the Section 105 chat room. All right. Shot clock is going to cut me off. Reminder, we do not have an Inside the Training Room with Dr. Crow this morning. The doc is out of the office. So we'll catch up with him at another time. But we've got Brandon joining us in the next hour. We're going to do some local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. I know some softball teams on the prep side of things, clinching some conference championships and such. So we are inching closer to some postseason play in that. We'll hit that all up and get the latest and greatest from Mr. Berg. We'll play a little AGM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. And we'll do some Cream of the Crop. So if you want to make some picks for Cream of the Crop, you can do so. All right, just hit us up on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line or again on the Section 105 chat room. Give me your Brewers first quarter grades. Give me your thoughts, reaction, analysis on your favorite team's NFL schedule. All right.